guys, welcome back. As promised, I have part 2 of the Epstein Barr virus video series for you today. So today we're going to be talking about why Epstein Barr virus and other hidden infections can be such a problem in the first place, and what does it really mean when the virus has been reactivated. So in the previous video, I mentioned that 90% or more of us will be infected or already are infected with Epstein Barr virus. After you've had the initial infection, the virus goes into a stage called latency, meaning it's just kind of hiding out, laying low. However, the reason that Epstein Barr virus has survived throughout history is because it's very good at staying hidden in the body, and then when it has an opportunity, coming back out of hiding so that it can replicate and then be passed on to another person. One of the best opportunities that the virus has to replicate and become active again is when our immune system is suppressed. And stress, in my opinion, is one of the primary reasons that our immune defenses get lowered. It's interesting to note, Epstein-Barr virus is actually a part of the herpes virus family. And if you know anyone or if you yourself get cold sores or has genital herpes, then you'll know that stress is a very potent trigger to have an outbreak of herpes lesions or cold sores. Same thing with Epstein-Barr virus. When you are stressed, your immune defenses are lowered, and that gives the virus an opportunity to come out of hiding and to actively replicate. And if your immune defenses stay low, then that virus can really have a fun time replicating, becoming stronger and stronger, and that can actually do a lot of damage. So why is it such a big deal if the virus becomes reactivated and if it's really taking hold on your immune system? Well, the reason is because viruses, bacteria, and other types of microorganisms are very potent stimulators and triggers of autoimmune disease. We know that Epstein-Barr virus can be a trigger for rheumatoid arthritis, especially multiple sclerosis. The research shows that 100% of people with MS have Epstein-Barr virus, and when they take biopsies or samples of the decaying tissue, or what we call the neurodegenerative tissue in MS, those patients have very high levels of active virus replicating in those tissues. So I talked about rheumatoid arthritis, MS, lymphoma. Epstein-Barr virus can actually be a trigger for lymphoma, which is a type of cancer. In certain populations, stomach cancer can be caused by Epstein-Barr virus. Hashimoto's, thyroid disease. So it matters because these viruses can confuse the immune system and cause our cells to be attacked in the process of our immune system trying to attack the virus. So one example of this is called molecular mimicry. And that happens because at the most basic level, our immune system recognizes protein sequences. That's what it's trained to tag or identify as something that is dangerous, something that needs to be attacked. And so if your immune system is used to looking for specific protein sequences, sometimes the protein sequences on the outer surface of a virus or a bacteria can look very, very similar to a protein sequence that one of the body's tissues has. And so if your immune system sees this invader and recognizes this specific protein sequence, if it's close enough to one of the body's tissues, it can cause this immune system confusion where your tissue looks close enough to that bug and it's going to get attacked. Another mechanism is called the bystander effect, and that happens when the virus can actually infect one of your cells. Specifically in multiple sclerosis, we know that Epstein-Barr virus gets inside of the B cells of the immune system, and then those B cells will seed themselves into the central nervous system. And so as your body is trying to get at that virus, just as a bystander, your myelin tissue gets destroyed, and it stimulates your T cells to start making antibodies against these tissues. But it starts with, the virus infecting our immune system's B cells. Similarly, in Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the virus gets inside of the B cells, and then those B cells seed themselves into the thyroid tissue, and that sets off the cascade where your T cells get stimulated, and again, you're making antibodies to your own tissue. So these infections do matter, and they do have strong implications for triggering other diseases. Besides stress, another reason that your immune defenses might be lower is nutrient deficiencies. So three things come to my mind when I think of immune health and nutrition. Number one is vitamin A, and in fact, vitamin A is known as the anti-infective vitamin. So without vitamin A, your immune system is not regulated. Interestingly, a lot of people think that they can get food sources of vitamin A by eating carrots or other foods that have what we call the carotenoids. But the research tells us that a good portion of the population, up to 30%, has a genetic polymorphism that does not allow them to convert beta carotene into active vitamin A or retinol. And so that means that most of us need to be getting vitamin A from food sources, and vitamin A, the preformed retinol, is really just found in animal food. So this can be an issue if you're a vegetarian. The other nutrient that comes to mind is vitamin D. Vitamin D is one of the most, if not the most, important regulator of the immune system. It does hundreds of functions in the body. In my experience, if a person is not actively supplementing with vitamin D, they're probably going to be deficient. I have actually never seen a patient in my practice who was not supplementing that actually had normal vitamin D levels. In other words, from what I see, if a person is not supplementing with vitamin D, they're probably deficient. And that's just what I've seen across the board. So vitamin A, vitamin D, and also zinc. Zinc is really important for regulating the immune system as well. And zinc is very significant for autoimmune conditions. Some of the research has shown that just correcting a zinc deficiency can reverse a lot of the autoimmune process. And again, some people who eat vegetarian diets are going to be more likely to have zinc deficiency because zinc is highest or most abundant in animal foods. And by default, a lot of the plant foods like grains and legumes are high in copper. Copper inhibits the absorption of zinc. They kind of antagonize each other. And so by default, if you're not getting enough zinc in your diet, and you're eating foods high in copper, it really sets you up for a zinc deficiency. So when we think of immune suppression, it's not just about stress, but it's about, does your body have the tools and the resources that it needs to keep all of those regulatory mechanisms running smoothly as they should? So my point today is that when our immune defenses are low, these viruses that we've been carrying can become reactivated. They can be a very potent trigger of autoimmune disease, everything from lupus to rheumatoid arthritis to multiple sclerosis. And there are things that we can do to strengthen the immune system, put the virus in check so that we can get the immune system back in balance and protect our cells. Because unfortunately, when the body wants to attack a foreign invader, sometimes our own tissues become the innocent bystander. So it's really about having that immune system back in balance. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how do you know if you have reactivated Epstein Barr virus. Obviously, you can have symptoms. You might have the swollen lymph nodes come back, fatigue, or a recent diagnosis of an autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's or lupus or rheumatoid arthritis. Those can all be signs. But what if you're working with a healthcare provider? What types of labs should you ask for? So there are some specific immune markers, some specific antibodies against that virus that you can check for with a simple blood test. And that's what I'm going to talk about next time. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I'm also going to link a couple of research studies down in the description bar explaining the connection between Epstein Barr virus as an autoimmune trigger and how it relates to Hashimoto's. So I hope you guys will check that out and find it interesting. And leave comments. I love to hear from you guys. So if there is a video that you would like to see on a specific topic, let me know and I will be sure to put that together for you. I make these videos to be helpful and useful, so I really want to know what you guys would like to see. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.